Hi, everybody. Welcome to the training here. Scottie Rapp, Hall of Fame producer, Hall of Fame annuity advisor as well. Um, Today, what I'm going to be going over with you guys is, the products that you can position your clients with from A to Z. I'm not going to be touching on multiple companies, multiple products, but I will be educating on our number one product or our number one company that we use here, which is Athene. A plus company just got bumped up to A plus with the AM Best just this last week. Today's June 29th, 2024, and we're going to jump right into it. So, what I'd like to really focus on today, guys, is product placement, how to navigate the process when you're showing an annuity, when the proper time is to bring it up in the conversation, what product you should be using depending on the client's need, and then A to Z, but behind showing the plan, getting the client on the same page, finding it as a good fit for a client, and then writing the application. I'll touch on suitability, how we get clients approved at the carrier level, and as you guys know, or may not know, an annuity is the way you get approved for it is through suitability. So it's not like life insurance where there's medical questions. You don't have to answer any medical questions. You're basically going to ask financial questions. So the rule of thumb in the suitability space is, making a suitable recommendation for the client and not putting more than 70% of their liquid assets in an annuity, and making sure that they have a certain amount of liquid assets to cover, each carrier is different, but typically it's around 6 months of living expenses. So that's all you guys need to know when it comes to how do I get clients approved for an annuity. Um, I'm gonna monitor the chat the best way I can here. Spotlight for everyone. Yeah, I'll do that right here. All right, cool. Thanks, Johnny. All right, so first things first. So basically what I want to touch on today, guys, is the key important topics of annuity placement. I'm gonna do my best to really expand on these key topics, which is annuity placement when it's appropriate, how to educate a client on safe money. These are safe money products. They have zero downside risk. There's zero market exposure, and that's really what we're using as per se a selling point with clients, typically from ages 55 all the way to 80 is where people are going to really be looking at safer alternatives in their retirement portfolio. Because the main problem that we're solving is risk, market exposure, and those clients losing their asset in case the market goes down. And so an annuity solves that problem. So there's a few things that you want to look at there, which I'll get into in a second. So next thing is product education and selection, how to run the illustration, which products to use, key word tracks, and also doing like a risk assessment on the client, from application to funding, how to get the contract issued. And then I'll touch on the index selection and placement for when you're running the application or actually doing an illustration. So the first thing I want you guys to focus on, and just to give everybody like a broad spectrum of, when an annuity is appropriate. And I learned this from, I can't really say a mentor, but, just self-education pretty much. You're going to really hone in on the acronym called PIL, right? So when you're looking to place an annuity, basically there's four things that you can contractually solve for in an annuity, or what you should be solving for. And the first one is principal protection, right? So if these clients are in a position where they're in retirement, like I just mentioned, they want to get their money out of the market and eliminate the risk, we can solve for principal protection. The next thing we would solve for is income for life. So an annuity is a guaranteed contractual insurance type product that you could solve income for life for. You could turn a certain amount of principal into contractual income for the rest of your life, and they cannot outlive that income, until they pass. So they can't. Um, let me mute everybody real quick. If you're not muted, just try to stay muted. Income for life. So you could turn principal into income. The third thing you can solve for is legacy. So there's certain products with especially Athene and certain designs that you can use that really give an enhancement to the death benefit component inside of an annuity. And then the fourth thing would be long-term care. Okay, not long-term care insurance. There's just certain supplements inside particular annuities that you can use as a long-term care supplement for your clients down the road. So these are the four main things that you're going to look to solve for during your sales process. For me, I run annuity marketing. So when I sit on the call with clients, they're already looking for annuities. Um, they're going through my process and meeting with me on Zoom. However, with most people, the way they're finding annuity money is during their life insurance appointment. So if you're running a life insurance appointment, make sure that you're always asking what's called the golden question, which is what else do you have that acts like insurance that would transfer when you pass to your, beneficiaries, right? To your family. And that could be stocks, bonds, mutual funds, CDs, 401ks, IRAs, right? And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but there's two ways or two types of money when you're moving money. There's actually three types of money, right? You're going to have your qualified money, right? This is also known as pre-tax money, money that they have not paid taxes on. So think of that like a traditional IRA, a 401k. Someone's been contributing money to their 401k or their IRA. They have a couple $100,000 in there. Now, you guys might be thinking, we're not tax professionals, but this is how the tax component works is when they take a distribution from their 401k or their IRA, they take it as taxable income. So if they take $40,000 off their IRA, they have to add $40,000 as taxable income. They don't pay capital gains on the growth. They just pay taxes as ordinary income when they take money. Okay, and the same rules apply if you put it into an annuity, because the money either goes into the annuity as qualified, non-qualified, or Roth, which is basically non-qualified, but it's kind of a different category. So qualified money is pre-tax money, also known as traditional funds. So it's a traditional accounts, pre-tax qualified money. That's the first type of money, right? So types of money. And you need to kind of know this when you go into these presentations with clients because it's important on the back end. So you have your qualified money, non-qualified money, which is post-tax, would be like, or non-traditional, would be like money coming from the bank, okay? Like money that they just have and they want to transfer into an annuity. They've already paid taxes on it somewhere, but it's post-tax money. So just know the difference there. And then the most, I would say, valuable type of money is your Roth money. Okay. So Roth money is a Roth IRA, for example. That's money that the client already prepaid the taxes on in the beginning. So anything that they pull out the back end is non-taxable. Okay. So this is a beautiful type of concept if you find clients with Roth money that we can, potentially place in an annuity, which I'll explain kind of which annuities to use in that scenario. But Roth money is tax exempt on the back end. So no taxes, they don't have to claim anything. Here they only pay taxes on the growth. The non-qualified Roth, they already did all that up front when they put the money in, and that's the benefit of a Roth account. Okay. So those are the three types of money that you're going to run into. And like I said, you're solving for four things. You're solving for principal protection, income for life, legacy, long-term care. The next thing I'd like to get into is just to recap on the life insurance side, when you find this money, all you have to do really, guys, is learn how to run an illustration. And, right now you would be doing that with Athene. Like I said, Athene is A plus rated. They just got bumped up by the AM Best last week. They honestly have probably the most competitive product arsenal on the in the industry right now from an accumulation standpoint and index components as well. And the way you edify Athene is very simple. You can go to myannuitiestore.com. They're right up there on the top. They're A plus rated and they have a great book of business, right? And if you want to show the financials for Athene, you can go to athene.com/financials, right? And you can bring the client over here and you can go through their book, Athene's book, right? Which is A plus rated, just got bumped to so everything's A plus now. Now the AM Best. See that happened on 6/24. 320 billion in assets under management. And then from there, it's really just about showing the right solution for the client, right? And that's what we're going to get into now. So the next thing I want to go over is the back office, right? So the back office is right here. You log in, right? Here's your My Business tab. This is your dashboard. Your alerts right here is where you can set up your email notifications from Athene. You can check pending new business, your book of business, right? Your production summary. You can go over here to the products tab, right? And I'm going to basically be going over the AccuMax, the Agility, the Ascent Pro 10 bonus, the Performance Elite products. So those are the 4 products that we're going to focus on today. And then we'll touch on the max rate as well, which is their fixed annuity. So every company has a fixed annuity. Typically, Athene's rate is like 5.5%. You can do it for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, something like that. Then you go to the sales tools kits, right? And so on and so forth. But if we go to products, the first product, the easiest and most non-complicated product that I can go over first is the Performance Elite product arsenal, right? And then if you want to go down to the rate changes, and see the upcoming rate changes on the indexes, on the bonuses on these products, usually those are being altered every couple of months, right? So you want to stay on top of that. And then your index resource center is going to show you how the FIA works from an indexing component. So that's going to be good to start with Athene Performance Elite. So if I click on Performance Elite, right, there's really 3 versions of the Performance Elite, okay? So you have that we use. So you have the Performance Elite client brochure, so here's the brochure you can send to clients. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But you have the Performance Elite 10, Elite product rates and availability. So if you want to know if my client is old enough, which age can I write it to? Obviously, you guys can see you can write this in any state but New York. And then you can go through like the key components and, do that on your off time pretty much. And you can see the bonuses, upfront bonuses that are attached to each product on the base version and then the plus version. Okay. And then the index allocations that you can use, which I'm going to jump into more in a second. And then, yeah, basically from there, that's how you find the client, the product brochures and information is just right under products. You click on the product you want to use, and then basically you can go through everything that you need. So let's go into product tutorials now. So I'm going to go back to my business and I'm going to go to the illustration software, which is right here, guys. So whenever you're running an illustration, you're just going to press run an illustration. It's going to bring you to this website, and then you're going to go to Annuity Illustration Center. And this is where you basically, run the play. Okay. This is where you design the case. So the first thing you want to do is new case, right? And if you already have ones that you worked on, your case management will show all the ones that you saved. You can click on new case. You can click on your state. I'll use Arizona. And then here's the products that are available in the state. So like I said, the first one that we're going to focus on is the Performance Elite product. Okay, there's two versions of this product on the 10-year contract. So these are 10-year annuities, which means that's how long the surrender schedule is, which I'll get more into in a second. But there's differences between the Performance Elite, the Performance Elite Plus, okay? And then they have another product called the Performance Elite 7, which I'll explain that in a second. But let's just look at the Performance Elite first. So if I put in Performance Elite and my client's 50 years old, right? And I go right here, first thing it's going to ask me is qualified or non-qualified funds. So when you're doing the illustration, to be honest, it doesn't really matter which one you put for illustration. It's more so you have that understanding when it's application time, how to run the application qualified or non-qualified. So I'll just leave it as non-qualified for now. Second thing I'm going to go to is the policy details, okay? So the policy details is where you design the policy. So if your client, maybe you're doing an illustration, say off, 200,000. Let's just use a simple number for now. You're going to put in 200,000 here. Now, there's three versions of how long you want the contract to be. So the one that we use the most of is the 10-year, right? I'll get into what the 7-year is as we go, but there's no need to do a 15-year annuity. But we'll focus on the Performance Elite 10. This is the Performance Elite 10, as you guys see over here on the right side. And the state, client age, producer, all of that. Okay. Now, if you want to change the product at any time, you can just go over here on the left, change the product. You can switch it out and redo, the details inside. But right now we're on Performance Elite 10. So $200,000 premium. First things first, I never put clients in strategy allocations. And before I jump there, let me switch this to, I'm not going to use Arizona because it doesn't allow me to illustrate certain indexes. Let me use North Carolina. So policy details, right? Oh, that's another bad one. Let me switch this out again. Let me see if Ohio lets us. No, see, some states are strict with what they allow to be shown on the index allocations. Just so you guys know, let's just see if we can Texas. Yeah, Texas should be fine. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. So long story short, you're going to have, this is where you pick how the index is allocated. So when they put the 200,000 in, remember it's an indexed annuity. So you have a variety of index allocations that you can choose with Athene. And you can get the brochures for each allocation right on the index center that I just showed you guys over here. So if you go to products and index resource center, you can see exactly all the indexes that are available that we're looking at on the illustration tool. They're proprietary market volatility controlled indices. So basically, they're comprised of the equities market, multiple components inside the economy, and they're basically created inside these indexes, and they shoot for an average rate of return every year. And then, of course, we have the S&P 500 index that we can use as well. And just so you guys know, this index right here, NASDAQ FC, which if I float back to the illustration tool, would look right here, right? They have a 2-year point to point, then they have a 1-year point to point. This was the highest performing index allocation in the annuity market last year. This index did 17.39%, I believe. Last year is the number one index in the annuity space. So not every company has this index. Athene does. And long story short, I don't put people in 2-year strategies, and I don't put people in a strategy with a charge. A strategy with a charge is going to allow you to get a little bit more participation in the growth of the index, but there's no need to do that really from my point of view because the participation rates are already high, and most of these proprietary indexes like here, they don't have caps on them, which they don't do crazy numbers. They don't do 40, 50%. We got blessed last year because this one did 17%. That's phenomenal, but there's no caps on them. The only one that you're going to see with a cap is the S&P 500 index that will have full participation in that allocation, but a cap on it. So when I'm doing the illustration with Athene, basically what I'm doing, guys, is I use the 1 year strategies, which means the money checks in on day one of the annuity. And, after 12 months, they get a credit for whatever the index performed at. Okay. So they get a credit for whatever the index performed at. So what I'm going to do is I'm always going to put 20% in 5 different buckets. So I'm going to use the Apex. I like that one. I'm going to use the 1 year BNP Paribas. I had a couple clients in that one last year. I did around 5 or 6% plus the participation. So not bad. Definitely going to use the NASDAQ FC. I would even argue putting, you know, 50% in that one. But for illustration purposes, I'll just do 20. And then I'll put 20% in this one, the UBS, right? And then I typically put about 20% in the pure S&P 500 index, you know? So this is typically how I allocate on the tool. Now, you can go to so that's that. So 200,000, 10-year, you can customize a rate right here. So I'll explain this in a second, but when you pull up the illustration, it's going to allow you to look at 3 different scenarios on how this product would perform. So here I always like to put, for the client, I like to put like a 3 or 4% medium, low range, hypothetical together for them, because basically we're going to look at the illustration. I'm going to explain that a little further. So just stay with me. So you can allocate for withdrawals. So for the Performance Elite 10, the base, we call this the base product. It's not the plus product. This one, how it works, and I like this product because there's no fees in the product. I always try to place my clients with products that have no fees. And the Performance Elite 10 has no fees in it. All right. Now the other side of that is you only have 5% free withdrawals. The next thing people need to know is what is their liquidity feature in the annuity? How much can they pull out with no questions asked and no penalty? With the Performance Elite 10 base, it's 5% a year starting on year 2. Okay, so I'm not going to illustrate for withdrawals. We're just going to look at an accumulation scenario here. So let me do this really second. I have to take this off. Yeah, so there we go. Let me pull up the illustration. So yeah, you just print the illustration right there. Just pull up the illustration right there, right? And here it is. And I always go, I'm on the Zoom with the client and I just press present. And this is where we get into it. So this is page 1. Okay. This is page 2. Now, the Performance Elite 10 also comes with a premium bonus. All right. I'll get more into that in a second. But you have guarantees, you have growth potential, you have a premium bonus up front, you have protection on the downside, no risk to your money, right? And then all the growth is tax deferred, so they only take taxes into the scenario when they take a distribution if it's qualified funds, like I mentioned before. You can use these for income, and you can also have them pay out as a death benefit, which skips probate, by the way, when they do pass away, okay? So next thing is we're going to go down to the index allocation. So this is the index scenario that I put the client in. You see, I did 20% in 5 different buckets, right? I did the Apex, the BNP, the BOF, the UBS, and the SPX. And if you guys want more information on indexes, we can spend a whole hour and a half on that. But these are the allocations that I chose. Now, S&P 500, like I said, has a 7.5% cap, which is sort of competitive, not really. Sometimes depends on the rate environment that we're currently in. And this is the Performance Elite 10. It has an 11% premium bonus. I'll get to that in a second. Now, the next page is all of the allocations, right? How they work, which ones you can choose from. You can see the participation rates, which basically means, just for simple math, for the Apex here, If we get a 10% return on the index and the participation rate is 140, your client would get a 14% return. Okay. So these rates are subject to change every time the index is up on a year-to-year basis. You should know that going into a presentation with a client. I just had a really good experience on renewal rates with my current book of business. My clients that are coming up on their anniversary, the renewal rates on the participation and caps were actually higher than what they are currently. So that was a thumbs up for me. Some companies struggle with renewal rate integrity, to be honest. And from what I see so far, Athene is raising my clients' book of business rates. So I was happy there. Like I said, you can go with the 2-year strategies if you want to. It just means that it doesn't get a credit for 2 years. The rates will be a little higher, but you got to wait 2 years for the credit. So I don't really use 2-year participations. I just use the 1 years. Okay. Now, next things next. So there's going to be 3 versions you go over with the client when you're doing this with them on the allocation, or not the allocation, the presentation. So you guys see right here where it says, here's the guaranteed annuity contract values. Everyone see that? So you have to show this to the client because this is contractually what's guaranteed in the product, which is 0 loss. And you can see up here on the top right, it has, hey, basically what this version of the illustration is showing you is like, hey, if we get 0% forever, this is what your annuity looks like on the Performance Elite 10 base. 11% premium bonus up front. That changes from time to time. The base is usually 11 to 12% premium bonus, right? 22,000 up front. So they put 200 in. Athene gives them 22,000. It's vested over a 10-year period. Once they're age 60, they're out of the contract. And that's what it is. They have 5% free withdrawals every year. And this is the guaranteed. So if nothing happens, that's what it looks like. Now you want to go down to this is the hypothetical 10-year look back for the best 10 years or the most recent 10 years. And this is what you're going to show the client. Based on past performance, we can't guarantee index rates at all, but this is what it's, looked like in the last 10 years, hypothetically going into the next 10 years. Okay. So you would just see account growth. There's no fees in the Performance Elite 10. That's why I like it because, hey, if they don't get a credit, at least there's no fee coming out. They have 5% free withdrawals in this account every year starting on year 2. And from there, it's pretty simple, Now notice the accumulated value starting on year 1, 2, 3. Let's just look at age 56 here. The accumulated value is 371. Now, if they want to surrender the contract, they're only getting 339 back because they're still in their surrender term, which is at 10 years. So Athene takes, I believe, 87.5% of premiums and compounds it by 3%. That's how they get the cash surrender value and the minimum guaranteed contract value, which is another something I can go over. But basically, if they surrender within the 10 years, this is what they're getting back. Now, mind you, if they pass away at age 56, Athene is waiving surrender. They're just going to pay out the accumulated value, just so you guys know. Other than that, guys, there's really no tricks to it. The indexes check in once a year. They get the credit. They can pull 5% a year. They get the bonus up front, and that's basically what it is. Performance Elite 10 simple. And if I go down to the bottom here, you'll see I customize the rate. So I would be like on my presentation with the client and be like, yeah, here's the guaranteed, right? Here, we know what it does if it does nothing. It just stays at 222. Here's the best case scenario on what it would do if it does great. Here's an average rate of return of 4%. This is what your money would look like if we only got 4% all the way through, So if we only get 4% all the way through, right? That's what it looks like. Now, I'll get out of this real quick. I'll show you guys what it looks like if you want someone to take interest off the top, right? Which is interest only, your free withdrawal provision. Say I'm going to illustrate for the client to take 5%, right? Starting on year 5. to 10. This is going to show now on the illustration them taking free withdrawals, and they'll like this too. Not a lot of liquidity in the Performance Elite 10 base, but with no fees, it's a good product, and the index allocations are aggressive. But I'll show you guys a couple other pointers there. So if I go down, the withdrawals on the guaranteed obviously won't look great. Like this is the guaranteed 0%. Not going to look good because we're getting 0% returns. But if you go down to the last 10 years, you can say, hey, this is your account. You get to this age, you can take interest off the top and not touch principal. And you do that for, 5 years, 6 years, you still have your principal there. So that's another way to show a client how to do free partial withdrawals on their annuity, which, like I said, Performance Elite 10 is only 5%. Now I'm going to scoot over to the Performance Elite Plus, okay, 10 plus. Same concept here. I'm going to do the same allocations. Just want to show you guys the difference between the products. Okay, Performance Elite 10 plus. Now I only use this product in certain scenarios. Okay, so the plus, basically what it does is it's the same annuity. It just comes with a bigger bonus. Now, when you take a bonus anywhere, there's something that they're making up for on the back end. So you have to notice that, and typically that's in the rate. So typically the participation rates or the caps will be a little less on a bonusable product. Products with no bonus, usually the rates are through the roof as far as the caps and participation rates. So like, if you're selling off the bonus, I just think people sell off the bonus because it's an easy way to sell. It's not the right way to sell an annuity. Oh, you get a bonus. The bonus is good, but it's all about what the client prefers in that scenario because the rates will be a lot higher if there's no bonus. But for this simple example, same concept. Now, the bonus on the Performance Elite 10 Plus is typically around 18%, right? So more money up front to them. Same product, same concept, only there's a 0.95 fee in the Performance Elite 10 Plus. So I don't use it all the time. If I have clients who want more liquidity, I go a different route. But I don't like the fact that there's a fee, but it's a good, it's relative because now they can pull 10% of their account first year and 20% if they skip a year. So it rolls over, doesn't keep going after that, but 10 a year, 20% if they skip a year, they charge you a 0.95 fee for that. And then also you're going to see that it also has a return of premium rider built in for 4 years. So after 4 years on the Performance Elite 10 Plus, you're going to see how they put in 200,000, their cash surrender is 200,000, right? That's called a return and premium. That's also what you're paying for on the 0.95 fee. You're paying for the liquidity and the return of premium. So if they get to contract year 5 and they want to surrender, Athene guarantees that they'll get back at least their initial premium, right? Me personally, I don't see a need for paying that if it's only an option in the first 4 years. There's contracts out there where it's earlier, no fee for it, but it's built into the Performance Elite 10. So that's basically how it works, guys. That's same concept, just more liquidity, bigger bonus, and a fee, 0.95%. So if you have clients that need more liquidity, and if you guys really think of it, if they ask you about the bonus, I mean, picture it this way. You do 200,000, they give you 32% or 32,000 up front. If there's no fee, if there's no performance given the 0% credits all the way through, that's what we're looking at. After 10 years, they still have 210. So the bonus just offsets the fee anyway. I just don't like fee products because if they get a 0% return and the fee's around 1%, then they get a bill in the mail and say, oh, what's this fee for? And I would just prefer not to have any fees and duck around that, but that's just me. So either way, the bonus will take care of the fee. So they'll never lose their principal. They'll actually be 10,000 up at the end of the day there on this product. So does that make sense to everyone? The Performance Elite 10 is pretty simple, right? For the most part, those are the two Performance Elite 10 products, you know? So that's how they work. Now, Athene has a really good 7-year contract on the Performance Elite. So if I go back over here, this is honestly probably one of the best products that you can get into with Athene, but a lot of agents won't sell it because it's a 7-year annuity. But for example, I want you guys to pay attention to what happens on the 7-year on the rates. Okay. No bonus up front. It's only a 7-year contract. You have 10% free withdrawals every year starting on year one, no fees. Just think about that for a second, comparison to the 10 that we just looked at. No fees. And guys, look at the rates, okay? Look at the S&P rate, 10 and a quarter on the 7. Same product, no bonus. Rates are a lot higher. 10 and a quarter cap. Participation rates are higher. Pretty straightforward. No fees on the guaranteed. The 10-year look back. 10% free withdrawal starting on year one. You can reposition the asset in 7 years if it's your client. You know, so once they're out of the 7, they'll be calling you, hey, what do I do with this now? And you can put them into a new product. And that's that. So that's those are the accumulation products with Athene. All right. And I'll also touch on, let me go over to the AccuMax real quick. This is the last accumulation product that we're going to look at. So you have the Performance Elite 10, Performance Elite 10 Plus. Then you have the Performance Elite 7. And then you have what's called the Athene AccuMax. Now, this product right here, I'll show you guys again. Now, this product, ladies and gentlemen, this is arguably the most aggressive product, best bang for your buck product on the annuity market currently out of all the companies in the industry, arguably. So the Athene AccuMax is a 7-year annuity, okay? Here's the index allocations. So say you put 200,000 in. This is a 7-year point to point on the S&P 500, which means your money checks in on day one. You do not get a credit for 7 years, but you get full participation in the market over that 7-year period. So on year 7, wherever the S&P is at, you'll get 100% participation. That's the current rate on this product. It's 100% participation in the S&P, no caps, no fees, 10% free withdrawals in the product. You know, I'll show you guys what it would look like. Typically, when I place this one, I do about 60% in the S&P. I like the AI-powered multi-asset index. I do 20% here. And then a 7-year point-to-point on the Schiller Barclays, which was created by Robert Schiller, which is a award-winning economist. And this is how it looks. So I mean, pretty simple, pretty great value proposition into the market with Athene here. But as a 7-year point to point, you know, on the S&P, here's the guaranteed. Let me go up here. So you guys see 7-year point to point, 100% participation in the S&P. That's not subject to change. Over that's a contractual 7-year rate. Okay, so Athene cannot change those rates once the application's done. Whatever you did it at, that's what they're guaranteed for 7 years. Why? Because it's a 7-year point to point. So when you deal with a lot of high net worth clients, guys, that's a lot of the time what they're concerned with is the 7-year is what's the renewal rates going to look like, and that's why I shift here because there's no renewal on the rates for that 7-year period, but they're also not getting a credit for 7 years, but they're getting 100% participation in the market. You know, so I mean, you can basically take your equities portion of your portfolio in your traditional retirement account and just put it in this. It's same concept, you know, with no risk. So no risk. And that's that. And here's the participation rates, right? Huge participation rates they're giving on the Schiller and the AI. And those are also contractual for 7 years. So on the guaranteed, principals protected, Okay. So if it does nothing, asset's going to stay the same. On the 10-year look back, and remember, we're using the S&P 500. This is what it looks like. So you show them this, and again, it's not promised, but you're getting no limit on growth, and no fee, 10% free withdrawals in the product. And this is what it would look like in 7 years, hypothetically, if, the market did the same thing in the last 10 years. So huge, huge value proposition and product from Athene. Is it always the right fit? No. For the higher net worth clients, typically they would like something like this. I would jump into Roth conversions, like if you have people that have pre-tax money and they're doing Roth conversions. This is a great product to do it with. You can do it right at Athene. Again, not tax advice to the client, but it's good because the asset doesn't get a credit for 7 years. They can convert all their pre-tax money to Roth, flip it on the back end, and then this asset is tax-free on the back end. But that's another training I can do on that. Next thing. So the next thing is going to be so the next one we're going to go over is let's go over the agility. Okay. So I'm going to have to take some time and actually explain this agility product to you guys because this is also another very, very good product with Athene. Only the right fit in certain scenarios. But I believe this is one of the best products in the Athene market as well. You can do a 7-year or a 10-year. I'll explain how those work in a second. We'll do the same type of setup here. So now we're on the agility. And allocations are, you could choose the same indexes, although on these type of products, the allocation is the same, just the participation rates are going to be a little lower. And the caps typically a little lower as well. And I forgot to tell you guys, each product you do has a declared fixed bucket that you can go into as well. Just so you guys know, usually it's like 3 or 4%. On the Acumax, it's like 4.13. So if you want to put 10% in fixed, you always can do that. So let me just do the same the same allocations here. I'll do 20% here, 20% there, 20% here, 20% here, and then I'll put 20% in the S&P. Okay, so try to stay with me here because this product, guys, this is so when now we're flipping over from accumulation products, like the products we just looked at are strictly for accumulation, which means the money just goes up. Okay, there's no risk. You might get a 0%. There's really no bells and whistles outside of what is the liquidity. And they're very straightforward. That's the Performance Elite 10, 7, 10 plus, and the Acumax. They're just grow your money type products with no risk. Now, the Athene Agility and the Athene Ascent Pro 10 bonus, this is where people get a little confused because these are different. These are more insurance guarantee type of annuity products. So we're going to do an illustration based off 200,000. And I'm just going to pull up the report here really quick, right? I'm going to pull up the report and I'm going to show you just the outline of the illustration for a 55-year-old, how it would look. So same concept, same company, all of that. But what you're going to notice is we're going to scoot down. You can see the rates and all that here, right? The rates are 6.25 on the S&P. You guys can see it was higher on the Performance Elite. We're going to scoot down over on the guaranteed really quick. So this is the guaranteed, and I've educated you guys on what the guaranteed values are. It's the insurance company's way of showing the client and us what the product or account would look like if we got 0% returns every year. They have to show this because, again, it's an indexed annuity. Everything is hypothetical on the upside. The only thing that they can guarantee is a 0%. And that's important to explain to clients. But you also have the guaranteed fixed rate you can allocate a portion to as well. So it goes both ways. Now, you're going to see two columns in the Athene Agility. This is one of my favorite products. So you guys see how there's an accumulated value and then there's a benefit base. Okay, so on the guaranteed, assuming no growth, you're going to see that benefit base starts at 290. So the bonus to the benefit base, and I'll explain what the benefit base can be used for in a second, is 45% as of today, June 29th, 2024. On the 5th of July, the bonus is going down to 40%. So that's another thing to just pay attention to. Rates go up, down, depends on the economy at the time. And right now we're in a very high interest rate environment. So this benefit-based bonus gets a 45% bonus on whatever you put in. Now, there's only two ways you can use, well, technically three ways you can use the benefit base. It's either used for income or it's used for a death benefit. And there's also a nursing home component to it when you trigger the income off it as well. Now, each year, right, there's no fees in this product, okay? You can't trigger the income. So it's a 10-year wait on triggering income because remember the benefit base is used to calculate what your income will be, but you can't use that income rider, which is a free rider in this product, for 10 years. So if your client needs to take money inside the 10-year period, they have 10% free withdrawal provisions through their account value, which is that's their liquidity, but it's not coming from the benefit base, it's coming from the account value. It will eat from the benefit base as well, but that's the liquidity. Now, you're preserving the whole goal of this contract is to preserve the benefit base by all means necessary. So you get the 45% bonus up front that starts the contract at 290 on the benefit base. The next component here, guys, is all you need to know about the agility. You get the bonus up front to the benefit base. You can't trigger income off it for 10 years. It's a 10-year hold for the pension-like income on the back end. And then the next functionality is each year the market performs right here where it says, you know, growth or whatever right here. For example, the first year it did 9.66. Okay. First year it did 9.66. What they do every year is they take the 9.66, they apply it to the account value. So the account value gets 100% of whatever the index did. The index, whatever it did, 9.66, they take this number and they double it. So they times it by 200%. And that's what they apply to the benefit base every year. So you understand like the accelerated crediting to the benefit base. The benefit base is not cash. It's only used in two ways, but that's the insurance component. They're driving the credits to the benefit base. That's why the benefit base is always a lot higher than the account value. And it's called what that mechanism is called index earnings. Okay. Earnings index income credit is 100% on interest credit applied as 200%. Benefit base bonus 200%. Or 45%, 90,000, excuse me. So that's pretty much it, guys. So the whole goal of the agility, this is for someone who's like in their 50s, 55, they're not retiring for 10 years. They have a longer outlook on using these funds. And then, for example, they're 55, they plan on working to 65. You do the calculations on what they'll be getting in Social Security, and then they have this account, say they have 200,000 they want to put in this. Hey, well, in 10 years, when they're done working, they can trigger that benefit base as income. Okay. Which I'll re-illustrate for in a second. Other than that, you might have someone older who's in their 50s, 60s, or 70s, and they're like, I am never touching this money. I want to preserve this for my family as a death benefit. And that's a perfect product because this is a legacy annuity. So if someone passes away, say at age, let's just go to the bottom here. They pass away at age 76. In this contract with the annuity, when someone passes away, the client or the beneficiaries have two options. So they could either take the account value, which is the death benefit, same number. They could take that as one payment. Or they can Athene will give them the option to take the benefit base over a 5-year period. Okay. And which one would your family probably take? They probably take the benefit base over a 5-year period. Okay. Now, contractually, all the companies that have these type of products, they can contractually, you know, make that a 10-year payout. They'll keep that as a reserve contractually, but right, it's always pretty much right now it's 5 years, which has been forever, I think. So they'll pay this over 5 years if they opt in to take the benefit base. So it's huge legacy value there. You have someone who has money and it's like, hey, I want a no fee product with great accumulation. You're getting 45% upfront to the benefit base. You're getting the double credits every year in the account or in the benefit base as well. And you're driving that benefit base. So by the time they're 65, the benefit base has 1.1 million. Account value has 632. And that's pretty much what it is. You're either going to use the benefit base for income after 10 years, right? Or you're going to trigger the benefit base as income, like I just said, or use it as a death benefit. Other than that, 10% free withdrawals off the account value, no fees in the product. And now what I'll do is I'll show you back on the illustration tool if you want to show the client what it looks like for income. You go over here to withdrawals, and what you do is you select maximum lifetime income. And I did so this client's 50. So I'll have him take that income in 16 years when he's 66. Like I just discussed. Like the Performance Elite accumulation products aren't always the go-to. I know they're like the easiest ones to sell, but a lot of times this is the best product to be using if the need is this, if it's the right fit. So you go down to the guaranteed. Again, this is what it looks like if we do nothing. But if we go to the hypothetical 10-year look back, or we go down here and say, hey, client, this is what it would be like if we do 7% all the way through. These are the relevant numbers. So we'll go to the hypothetical. Why not? The interest rates have been great. Benefit base grows to 968. You trigger the lifetime income. Like I said, you can only do it after 10 years with the agility. If it's before that, if you need money, you got to take 10% off the account value. And then you trigger income, and it's a pension-like income for the rest of their life. So this number turns into the payout percentage on whatever age they're at. And it's think of this contractual lifetime income that cannot run out. Okay. Now, the nursing home component, if they go in a nursing home while the income's on, they will have a feature in this annuity where they'll double the income for 5 years. They'll double this income for 5 years as long as they have an account value, okay? Account value or benefit base. If I scroll down, by the time this client's 80, there's no more money left in the account value. There's no more money left in the benefit base. But remember, this is a contractual lifetime payment. The insurance company's on the hook to pay the income regardless if there's an account value. So they get to age 80, they've already withdrew 1.4 million in total income. That's what the cumulative withdrawals are. It's all these numbers every year cumulatively. So by age 80, they do they've taken 1.4, and then this is an increasing income for the rest of their life. So it looks great on the hypothetical look back. For these scenarios, I like to show a custom rate of 4, 3, 5, 6%. But this is what it looks like. Money's gone. Pension income is still there. Again, annuities are a transfer of risk. So you're transferring the risk of running out of money to your annuity, and they're contractually obligated to guarantee you income. You can also put spouse income on here as well. So when they take the income 10 years down the road or whenever they do, they'll say, hey, are you taking single income or are you taking spousal income? Joint. They call it joint income. If it's joint, these numbers will be a little lower, but Athene will now have to contractually be obligated to continue the payments to their spouse if they pass. Okay. So you can do joint income or single income. Again, nursing home benefit only there if there's an account value or benefit base. You can use it for death benefit. You don't even have to touch the benefit base. If they don't want it for income, use it as a legacy. But the whole concept is the bonus up front to the benefit base and then the accelerated crediting that happens to the benefit base every year through the double percentage to the account. Okay. So that's the agility. Does all that make sense, guys? You can drop one in the chat real quick if that makes sense. That's the Athene Agility. That's one of the better products on the market. Um, so we went over Performance Elite 10, Performance Elite 7, plus base, all of that. The next one is going to be the Ascent Pro 10 bonus. Okay, went over the AccuMax, the max rate, guys. That's just a multi-year guarantee fixed annuity. Like I said, we're not going to go over that one today, but the rate's usually around like 5.5%. You can do it for 3 years, 5 years, or 7 years, 10% free withdrawals every year. Next one is the Ascent Pro 10 bonus. Now, what you're going to do is probably not use this type of product unless you absolutely need to, because what you're conceptually doing is you're trading your principal for income. So contractual income, there's pros and cons to it. It has to be the right fit for the client. High net worth clients, forget about it. They don't need these type of products typically. They can just take interest off the top of, say, like the Performance Elite, or the Agility is a good one for them. This is for people that maybe have like an income gap, don't know how to really control their money, need some real guarantees, don't they spend too much money, stuff like that. Um, it's good. It's a good product. Every company has a product like this, but basically what happens here, it's a 10-year annuity, 200,000 goes in. Allocations are similar. Now, I won't get too much into this, but usually what we're doing on this type of product is we're doing option one, level income. Athene has options where you can get a lower guaranteed income, but the potential for it to increase. You can have the index earnings component like it does on the Agility put into this product as well. But typically, we're going to use option one, level income, and I'm not going to spend too much time on the other ones. Now, the main difference here, unlike the Agility, where you can't trigger the income for 10 years, this one you can trigger income within 30 days. So you can put 200,000 in, you can do max lifetime withdrawals, and you can start that income within 30 days because remember, you're trading your principal for guaranteed contractual lifetime payments. So this is more of a product, if the client was starting income is in 6 years, let's say 6 years. And I'm going to pull up the report real quick, show you what this does. Like I said, every company pretty much has a version of this product. On the guaranteed income, immediate annuities. Athene, there's a lot of companies. This type of product becomes competitive in the income space if you have clients that actually want to trade their principal for guaranteed income. Some do, some don't. Some love it, some hate it. It really just depends on who you're talking to, really. So for level income option one, 200 goes in. And let me see what the bonuses are on this one right now. The bonuses change all the time with this product. Income based bonus. Yeah, so let's not get too nitty gritty about numbers, but basically what happens, guys, just like the Agility got a benefit based bonus, the Ascent Pro 10 bonus also has a benefit based bonus. So when you put 200,000 in, um, they basically give you a bonus up front to the benefit base. Okay. So the benefit base here starts at 240. And then what happens after that, whenever they decide to trigger the income rider, this is what the guaranteed income would be. Well, it's very simple here. It just goes up. Yeah, I believe let me see. So let's just go down to the guaranteed real quick. I'll show you how this looks. So same concept as the Agility, only there's a fee in this product. So whenever you take a fee, the fee is 1%. The fee is actually giving you a contractual guarantee. Now, the fee also depletes your asset quicker, but it gives you a contractual guarantee for the rest of your life. So if we look at a 0% return on this product, this is before like a client who just has a little bit of money, maybe a couple 100,000, and they're like, I don't have I don't have no social security, I have no pension, I have nothing, and I don't know what I'm going to do in retirement. These are good products for them because basically they're going to get the bonus up front to the benefit base. And then the difference here between the Agility and the Ascent is that, on the Agility, it's market dependent. Okay. So however those indexes perform, that's how the benefit base grows. Now, with the Ascent or products like this, immediate income fixed index annuities with an income rider that you pay for, the roll up percentage is contractual to the income base. They call it the income base here, not the benefit base, but it's the same thing. So you see how when they don't take income, it's called deferring income. So the longer you defer with these products, the higher your contractual lifetime income will be. So you get the bonus up. I think the bonus up front to the benefit base is like 20%, the income base, excuse me. 20% to the income base. And then each year you defer, they roll up 10%. I'm pretty sure. So when they roll up 10% to the income base, it's just a contractual roll up credit. Hey, let us know when you want to trigger the income, and we'll have the exact number that's for you for the rest of your life. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. The fee, the 1%, comes off the account value. So the fee will be hit by the account value. The account value will also be getting credits when the indexes perform, but the account value performance, how the market does, has nothing to do with your contractual income. And that's why I show you guys on this product, these type of products, remember, we're looking at the guaranteed. So the 0%, we're assuming no growth. The income is 1717. The account value is gone because we're taking income, they're deducting the fee, account and principal is gone, but the income is contractual. Okay. And you can look on the guaranteed version, the non-guaranteed version, the numbers don't change. Remember, contractual guaranteed income. You can go any which version of the illustration. Hey, if the market did 100%, if the market, basically what I'm saying is if the market does bad, your account value will be gone quicker. If the market does okay, your account value will last longer. Your principal will be intact longer. And you can do single or joint payout. And like I said, with Athene, they have option 2. They have different features you can put in there where you can make this an increasing payout. But the option 1 level income, the contractual payout will be the same on the guaranteed as it is on better performance. It's just the account value is going to last longer. So they have 10% free withdrawals out of their accumulated value, which you're not really going to be using that because the goal with this type of product is put money in, defer for a certain amount of years, get the contractual pension like income. So if they do that, right, they take this 17,117, whatever it is, to age 90. They put 200,000 in, but they took $618,000 in income over that course of time. So again, think of it this way. You give the annuity company money, they're contractually obligated for payouts, but they're paying you over a 30, 40-year period. So they're able to stretch that money and do something with it in the interim, but guarantee you those steady payments on its longevity credits. So it's just a way to make your money stretch for as long as you can. That's if you're okay with, this portion of my asset I want in this type of product. I don't really care about the principal. I just want the guaranteed monthly income. We call these type of products mailbox money. And from there, it's a competitive market for these type of annuities because some companies change rates. The payout, this company will give 20,000 a year for 200, and you guys know it's just a competitive on this type of chassis. So I always recommend going the agility route if you can, or the performance elite, taking withdrawals off the top, not touching the principal. And that's pretty much how it works, It's pretty straightforward as far as the products. You have your accumulation products, you know. You have your super accumulation product, the AccuMax, which is like a no-brainer proposal. The Athene Agility, the contractual guarantees, the Ascent Pro 10, the Performance Elites. And that's pretty much what it is, you know? And you want to identify your client's risk. That's you guys just had a product training, so that's how you choose products. And you guys can always ask me as well. If you need me, I have my Instagram on the top here. You guys can always DM me if you're watching. That's how the index allocations work. And basically, to write this annuity, we can go over that next. To write this annuity, basically, what you're going to do is go to fflams.com, right? You're going to log in, right? Make an account, log in, right? You can ask a specialist. You can do application review. Click here to submit e-app. If you not, here we go. Everyone that's asking me, this is how you do it. To write the app, I never personally do it through Athene. You don't want to write the app directly to Athene, especially on your first couple ones. If you have not created an SRS, we use Firelight. So Firelight is basically the same system Athene uses. It's just going to go through your IMO first, and they can scan it, make sure it looks good. If there's corrections, they'll send it back to you. You can do the corrections before they send it off to the carrier. So you can email info@fflms, get your Firelight account set up, and then you pull up Firelight. And if you guys need help with that, ask your uplines, or if your upline does this, or hit me up on Instagram and I'll help you with that. But other than that, it goes through suitability. Athene has software. They're usually like my last case I just did for 500,000. They approved it right when it hit the back office. They have like a scan. It checks the liquid assets, make sure it's good. They literally approved and fax transfer paperwork within 45 minutes, like, of submitting the app. My client even called me, like my financial advisor just called me. I just get the paperwork. So that's that. So that's pretty much it. You can order your brochures, ask a specialist, right? Here's your like one-stop shop for, you know, for advanced markets, fflams.com, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and close out this training. My Instagram is Scottie3K, SCOTTIEE3K. You can follow me. You can subscribe to the Instagram. You can check out our website, exclusiveannuities.com. If you're a customer watching, and if you're looking to join the agency, shoot me a DM on Instagram, or shoot me an email at williamrappinsurance@gmail.com. So that pretty much wraps up my training for today. That's all the products that you guys need to know. Like, again, we went over the accumulation AccuMax, we went over agility, Ascent Pro 10 for income, the differences between the performance elites, the indexes, the liquidity, how to place the policy, how the functionality works, the back office, where to get your resources, how to study indexes. You can always go to the YouTube, rewatch this video, and like, subscribe. Hope you guys had a good time. Hope you guys got value out of that training. And as always, it's always a pleasure. If you need anything, contact me whenever you need to. You have a good day.